Welcome to Day One Energy, a podcast that talks about motivation, keeping that day one energy, whether you're in business, whether you're in event planning, whether you're in absolutely anything in life, because keeping that day one energy is critical, absolutely critical to having a consistent and an awesome outcome in whatever you do. I'm joined here with Jordan Rosenthal, a good friend of mine, an entrepreneur, a businessman. Jordan, how are you, mate?
We did it.
Yeah.
We finally started the podcast.
Finally, man.
We've been talking about this for ages.
Long time.
Yeah. Well, we did it. I'm super excited for this. I think this is going to be fun. Something that I'm passionate about is, well, simply keeping that day one energy. It's something I struggled with at first. And I think it'll be cool for everyone, not just myself and yourself, to find out what other people are doing to keep that energy, that motivation that you had from that first day, from the start. How, whether it be 12 months, 5 years, 30 years down the track, how are you still keeping that motivation going?
Absolutely. So we wanted to jump on today and do a bit of an introduction onto who we are, being the people interviewing our guests. So you guys have a little bit of background info on who we are as people, what we do, and why we are actually doing this, because it's an important thing to know why we're doing this, because we really want to reach out and be able to connect with specifically young people to keep their day one energy and also get on a path in life that's, 1, good, 2, away from negativity, and 3, having a purpose. And that is so important. Sure. And us being young people together, like 21, 19, just so you guys know, we're both businessmen. We're both running our own businesses, and we'll get to that shortly. But this is almost for us also to be able to speak to people and learn how mildly successful people have kept their day one energy and how they've been mildly successful. So, do you want to talk about briefly what this podcast is about, what we're going to be doing, just a little bit more in depth?
So what we're going to be doing over the next, however long it is we do this podcast for, hopefully years, is bringing on business people who, like I said before, may have been in business for 1 year, 5 years, whatever it be, and how they have kept that motivation that they had from the beginning. Finding out what their stories are, where they were at day one, what was day one, what did it look like for them, working out, I suppose, sort of what everyone's biggest obstacle has been over that time, and how in that time, through those obstacles, how they kept that energy going, and how they're still to this day keeping that energy going and still growing their business. Absolutely.
When we were brainstorming ideas for this podcast, we were actually thinking, there's so many podcasts out there where there's multi-millionaires, billionaires in front of the camera going, you need to do this, you need to do that.
How many times do we change the name or change the concept of this podcast?
And we thought, there is not a podcast out there that actually is bringing on people who aren't multi-millionaires, but people who have been in business for a few years, have a few years of experience, understand how their industry works, have made maybe, a couple $100,000, and they're doing okay. But actually telling us the process of how they started, because that is so much more important than these multi-billionaires coming on going, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that. It's not relative to the demographic that is actually interested in getting into business.
100%. Yeah. I know for a fact, when you're scrolling through TikTok sometimes, you see some old dude, he's, multi-millionaire, and he's like, do this, I did that.
You need to make your bed in the morning.
Yeah. It's like, that's not really relevant to sure, that was cool 50 years ago.
Yeah.
How are you doing it now?
Exactly. Exactly. So I think let's dive into something real quickly. Tell me about you, Jordan. Tell me about who you are, what you do, and more specifically, how you've kept your day one energy, but a little bit about your story in business and where you are and why you think this podcast is going to be beneficial to yourself and people your age.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Jordan. So I'm 21 years old, 22 next month. So still fairly young. I am a real estate agent. So to sell houses. It's pretty straightforward. I have been where I currently am in running my own business since February this year. So getting pretty close to 12 months. What's that? We're at 10 months now.
Yep.
And have loved every second of it. I've been in the industry for coming up to 5 years. So there's been a few obstacles over that time. Many times where I thought, stuff this, I'm getting out of this industry. This is not for me. Which I think everyone goes through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you get to those obstacles, you're like, I can't do this anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm going to leave. But there was a few things that sort of kept me going. Particularly in a couple people that kept me going as well, that, you know, just knew what to say when I needed it. There was always, particularly Alex Tinknell. I'd call him a couple of times, and he wasn't my principal at the time. I'd call him a couple of times, and I'd be like, "Man, this is what's happening at the moment," you know.
Yeah. Because there is that novelty of people think that business is easy.
Oh, dude.
And they go, the amount of people that have told me this year, mate, oh, you could write that off on tax. Oh, you'll be fine. You run a business. It's not like that.
Got to have the money in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. And I think everyone makes that mistake. Like where I have worked in the past, and I've sat there and go, oh, you could do that. You could do this. That would be so much better. And then you actually start your own business. You're like, yeah. So how about you? Tell us your story. 19.
Absolutely. My name's Lockie. Lachlan, if you want to be formal, but I prefer Lockie. I'm 19, and I run a media company focusing on videography, photography, and social media. I've been in the social media, videography, photography space for coming up on like 3-4 years now. I actually was fortunate enough to get another job when I was 14 and 15, where I was actually working for another media company, and that helped found my passion. I found it. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I was passionate about.
Yeah, that's good that you found that early on. I know there's a lot of people, even like I've got some friends that you know still have no idea what they want to do.
Absolutely.
And that's cool that you found that early.
Yeah, for sure. It was very lucky. I graduated from school a year and a bit ago now, and when I was leaving school, everyone's like, "Are you going to uni or are you doing a gap year? Is there a third option?"
Yeah.
Why does it have to be those two things, or uni or trade? Like, why is it you do that or do that, and if you do anything else, it's not respected. I'm like, no, I'm going to start my own business. Like, you're going to start your own business? Good. Yeah, sure you are, mate.
Yeah. You're 17, 18. You're not going to do that.
Like, are you kidding me? And there was so much negativity around that, about going off and starting my own business. And I think it was the exact same with you, going off and doing your own thing.
Yeah.
And it's because school doesn't teach you that kind of stuff. School doesn't teach you how to become an entrepreneur. School doesn't teach you taxes. School doesn't teach you how to start a business. They don't teach you that kind of stuff. So me and you specifically had to learn this all on our own. And we went out and, took a big risk. It would have been easy to go get a job at Macca's, go get a job at, I don't know, anywhere, 7-Eleven, earn more money than we probably would have in our first few years of business, and it would have been less stressful. But there would be no room to grow in that. You're stuck here.
No, 100%.
When we want
yeah.
here. So a year ago in 3 days, I started my business, Outcast Media, and very, very fortunate enough to have an awesome year. Meeting people in my industry, like, who are passionate about business, starting networking groups and starting to network and spread my wings and learn and understand how business works. Now, it's been a rough year. It hasn't been easy. There's been, many obstacles, like you said.
Man, I've seen you go through it.
Yeah. But I've learned so much, and I'm coming into next year going, this is going to be a massive year. Like, I'm going to probably make a decent amount of money, but I'm also growing a business that's scalable. And that is so important.
Yeah.
That's a bit about me.
100%. And funny story, actually, about how we met.
Yeah.
So I was with working for my last company at the time. It was about a year and a half ago now, and I was working with a gym that I funnily used to work at, and I was up there. We were doing a membership giveaway, and the owner of the gym said, I said, oh, we could probably just, film it on our iPhones. He goes, no, I've got someone. And in comes this, 17-year-old kid. And I was like, oh, okay, let's see how this goes. And here I am holding this mic, and it turned out really, really good.
Yeah.
And then I think from there, I was following you on on my business page on Instagram. And then, when I decided to step out and do my own thing, I think it was like 2 weeks before I started. I had a bit of a break in between. I had about 5 weeks off, and I contacted you. I said, hey man, let's get a coffee. What can you do for me? Like, this is my budget. This is what I've got to work with. Let's sort something out. And it's just like that first week hit the ground running.
Exactly. Lifetime friendship right here.
Yeah.
So day one energy, guys. Over the next few months, years, we're going to be bringing on guests once a month. People that have been in business for, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. They might not even be in business. They might be in other industries that you as viewers are interested in, and society is interested in a whole. But we're going to talk about how they've kept their day one energy and how they have got to where they have got to. So
yeah,
it's going to be a fun journey.
I'm super excited. Let's do it.
Stay tuned.